Nathan, you want to fight about something?
Sure.
What do you want to fight about?
Mm.
Fisticuffs?
I mean, you would destroy me in a physical fight. That's not even.
That's what guns
are. Are you talking about when you got destroyed at Mountain Mania?
Hurricane in the hovel. I remember. I hosted the hurricane.
Welcome back to the My Mom Has Tourette's podcast. And growing up, one of us had a crush on another's mom. I'm your host, Nathan.
I'm Josh.
And I'm Andrew.
And I'm Nathan. And we have a good, nice little host of talking points to go over this week. One, we're going to be talking about our gamer tags, actually, and the history behind them, and why we decided to go with what we did and what stuck for however long, that sort of thing. Me being Pendragon, Josh being
Break my legs, Daddy.
Andrew being
Mills 116 click.
Yep. And we're also going to be talking about our second week in Tarkov, which I do believe is going to be a little bit more successful this time around than the first week when we went in blind and it was just we were lying on the ground prone and going like this and getting shot from behind, that sort of thing. So yeah, I think it's going to be a little bit better, but we'll kind of go over lots of talking points with Tarkov, and then we have a new fantasy draft to end off the episode. So how are we doing, boys?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. I'm overexposed.
Andrew, how's your mom?
She's still well, live and kicking, doing good. Gonna have a pig roast this weekend, so that should be fun.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's not your mom, is it?
Oh, you called my mom a pig and she watches this. She's gonna get your phone number and call you.
It's gonna get really awkward when one of our moms die and we're still doing this podcast.
Yeah.
My mom had Tourette's.
Our options will just be down to 2.
Yeah, but they won't know if.
Be like, fun fact this week, one of our moms passed away.
Yeah,
so dark.
Oh no! Oh, let's hope it never.
Did we just remove one of the moms out of the logo?
We'll just cross them out.
So sad. Just a big old red X.
Gone.
Holy crap, that's terrible.
The do not smoking symbol. True.
Perfect.
All right. So for those who don't know, what is a gamer tag?
It's a tag for a gamer, homie. Pretty much, it's like your nickname that you use online. A gamer tag is pretty much the same thing as a username, anything like that. We are My Mom Has Tourette's podcast, but myself, in my personal logins, that sort of thing, I'm Pendragon, or Pendragon the Ninja, if I don't have Pendragon's Taken, which it usually is. So, it pretty much is how you go online. It's how you kind of the anonymity of the internet. You pick a different name. I don't go by Nathan last name. I go by Pendragon. So it's just kind of how the internet works and has worked forever. And if you're watching this and don't know about that, I'll be a little bit surprised.
Well, for most people that use the internet, when you sign in on the Summers, it's like, what's your email address? So you log in with that. When playing video games or using Discord, they want you to create, when you're running around in the game, what do you want to be known as? That's your gamer tag. You use a gamer tag on PlayStation and Xbox, the PC, all that. So gamer tag is something that you'll be called while in game by other people. So, Nathan, tell us a little bit about your gamer tag, Pendragon. How'd you get that?
Well, growing up, I was an avid reader. I read kind of constantly, more than I do now, but I still do love to read. Life is busy, so I cannot read as much as I used to, and it is very sad. Please mourn that for me tonight. Regardless, Pendragon series by DJ McHale was my favorite series growing up, one of them at least, and the name just kind of stuck with me. I just started using it on online games and stuff like that, and I don't know, how old was I? Maybe, 13? Somewhere between 12 to 14, I just started using that name online, and it stuck, and I've used it ever since. And it's what I use for my gaming YouTube channel. I use it everywhere. I'm not, some people change their gamer tag a lot, but like I've been using mine for probably more than half my life. So there's that.
Yeah. Andrew, how'd you get yours?
So Mills was just a nickname that people called me when I was younger. It's just short for my last name, which is Miller. I don't care if you know that. Good luck trying to Google Andrew Miller and finding everyone. But that's how I got the first part, and the last part, 116, is a nod to a music group that I listen to. 116 being a record label for a Christian rap label, and the numbers 116 refer to Romans 1:16, which is one of my favorite Bible verses. Just ultimately being, just kind of the reason why I live the way I do. I always make mistakes like everyone else, but just makes me realize that we all make mistakes, we all fall, and we can always get back up, and we always have second chances. And so I just put them together because why not? I have a tattoo of it, so I was like, yeah, that sounds good.
What's the Bible verse?
Romans 1:16. For I am not ashamed of the Lord our God. It is the salvation to all those who believe, first to the Jew and then to the Gentile.
Like it.
Indeed.
I like how that's
How'd
your
you
only
get your name?
tattoo, and you're like,
Yeah.
I don't want no more.
I don't, man. I don't. I hate needles. There's a funny story behind why I got it in the first place, but yeah, well, I guess it's not funny. It's just short.
Josh, how did
Yes.
you get your gamer tag?
So, kind of awkward.
No.
I'm nervous.
There was a bunch of us who decided to go to Eaton Park. It was like 11 o'clock at night. And they gave us that real large circular table by that window. And so there was a bunch of people in the restaurant. It wasn't super busy, but there was still people there eating. So our whole group went in. There's probably 9, 10 of us sitting at the table. And we're all sitting there, and everybody's having like a conversation with somebody else. So it's like one-on-one conversation going around the table. So there's probably like 6 different conversations going. And so I'm just sitting there, and I think we were waiting for our food at that time. I don't know why, but the thought, break my legs, Daddy, came into my head. And me being me, while everybody was talking, I just smacked my hands on the table, and I looked around, and I was like, break my legs, Daddy. And everybody started laughing, so ever since then, I just decided to start using that for my my gamer tag.
That's the Tourette's.
Could be.
It's hereditary.
Speaking of, though, Josh, didn't you get that? Hold on, let me rephrase this. When you thought of that, didn't you make that your YouTube name and then you got a shout out from a famous semi-famous YouTuber?
No, so what I started doing was going on Twitch.
That's
And
what it was.
everybody that I was watching on Twitch for Escape from Tarkov, when I would watch them, if I liked them enough, I would follow them. And what people do on Twitch is they'll like, if I follow the Twitch account, the person on Twitch will get a notification saying so and so just followed you. And so they'll do a shout out like, thanks, Pendragon or Mills, for the follow. So I would follow them, and then they'd go to read it, and they're already halfway through thanking, and they're like, well, I can't back out of this now. So they'll start saying my name, and they're like, thanks, break my legs, Daddy? And so I just started recording every time I would like somebody, and they would thank. So it's funny. People get real awkward and shy about it.
I can imagine.
That would make for a great video if you cut all that footage together.
Yeah.
You should.
That'd
That'd be
I've got
awesome.
one from Dan the Man or something like that. He usually wears like a gold chain and a red shirt for his Twitch videos. But yeah, he was the funniest. So,
That's great.
oh well. But Nathan, I want to know about how your week was in Tarkov. You hinted a little bit at it. We talked a tiny bit last night, but there was still a lot left to go over.
Oh yeah, I'm saving that crap for the podcast every week, dude. It's so worth it. Okay, so my week in Tarkov was interesting. I had a total of 3 raids. You're gonna be like, oh, this guy played 20 minutes. I played almost 2 hours, about 2 hours. First raid. Well, all 3 of these raids I went into offline mode, and I played on Shoreline. So we played on the map Shoreline. That is gonna unlock a little bit in your brain, Josh. You kind of have an idea of some of the things that might have happened now.
Yeah, we haven't taken Andrew there yet.
It's cool. I liked it so far. I actually really like the map. It's interesting. It's so different from Factory, my only experience before this.
Out of all the maps that you had access to, was Shoreline random or was something drawing you?
Shoreline is one of the 4 that you gave us to start with. Forest, Customs, Shoreline, and something else. Woods, not Forest. What was the 4th one?
We'll say it, Customs, Interchange.
Interchange.
Okay.
So Shoreline just sounded cool. I was like, there's an ocean, let's do it. So, I don't know, it just sounded like it'd be a fun, maybe like spawn on the beach or something, which you don't really seem to do. So, for very first time, I decided I'm going to go onto this map. First raid, I'm not going to, remember, this is offline, so there's not real players, so it's a little bit easier. You just have to be careful with scavs, whatever. And I said, I'm not going to look at the map. I'm going to give this a try, run around, and see what I can do. So I spawned, I think, near the border of the map, where there's like this fence with like barbed wire on the top. Can't get over it, that sort of thing. I don't know which part of the border because I didn't have the map pulled up. So I ran along that for a while because at first I thought, oh, this is like a complex, and eventually it'll wrap around and I'll find like an entrance. But I didn't realize it was the edge of the map. I thought it was like a fence and there was like some kind of complex on the other side, and I had no clue what was happening. So I ran, and then I got to the this part where there was a bunch of big rocks that kind of like went over the fence. So I was like, oh, I wonder if this is where you can get into the complex, and you jump on the rocks, and it just like didn't let me. It was like an invisible wall. So I was a little bit disappointed. But then I said, all right, well, it's time to just run straight off into the woods. So I did so. And I found a house. And I found another house. Found a ton of houses, all abandoned. Went around, I went through them. I was taking it very slow. I was very scared. Just because of my experience with Factory. I know they were real players. But I'm very afraid of scavs, where I was with doing this, just because I had such a rough experience my first time. So I was taking it very slow. I was being very sneaky. Finding like these houses, these abandoned houses, going in them, trying to find as many loot, as much loot as I could, without looking at like the map to be able to see where it was, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I continued, and I found myself into it was like a really big complex. There was like a 3 or 4 story like apartment complex or something. It was very large. It was very long. I was like, I couldn't believe that there was this much to explore and try to loot, because I was like, this is going to take me all day. I mean, you only have 45 minutes. Regardless, I started just going through like the different floors of this building because I was just exploring. I was just doing whatever, trying to find what loot I could, because I was interested in seeing what kind of things could drop. And at one point I went out on like this balcony. There was a door that I opened, went out on the balcony, went across the balcony, went into another room with another door that you could open. So I went on the balcony and I went back in, but through another door. And there was a door that I could open in that room that I went into that would take me into the hallway where I could continue on down the building. And I walked it to that door, opened that door, it shoved me into the wall. I spent the next 15 minutes doing anything feasibly possible that my character could do to get out of the wall. But I was shoved into the wall by this door, 7 years in beta. And there wasn't an option to shut the door. It was basically shoved me into the wall to the point where there's like the door was here, it went, shoved me into this wall here, and on the other side of the wall, in the room that I came out onto the balcony from, there's like some like shelving units or whatever. And I could see my body, like I'd see myself like in the wall, in the shelving units, but I was technically not in that room. I was just stuck between like the meshes of the door and the wall, but it didn't know what to do with me, so it said, okay, you're kind of in the wall. And I had to just leave. I had to quit the raid, and it was so depressing.
I've never heard of that happen.
I wish I had recorded it, because I could actually try.
That's great.
I could probably find
what a can crusher.
I was so sad, and I'm gonna try to make the other ones brief. But my second raid was fantastic. It was so different. I didn't get stuck in a wall and have to quit. So after all that, I have a bunch of stuff brought in with me. Anything that I deemed that could be helpful to me because we're in practice mode, I couldn't lose it, so it didn't really matter. So, second raid. I started, I think, I can't
That
remember.
building, the building you were in, that's called the resort.
Okay.
So Shoreline is a map, and that big building's like a little resort. And so there's a first floor we call medical floor because there's a bunch of doctors' offices and stuff.
Yeah.
And then the 2 floors above that are apartments for the resort. And then you have the 2 buildings that go like this.
Yeah.
And then there's a building that goes like this. The building that goes off by itself, that's called admin.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, that sounds about right. I want to get this right. I can't remember where I started exactly in this one. But my second raid, I think I started somewhere on the left side of the map, close to Savetliv Dead End. Savetli Dead End. Right north of the ruined road and Scav Island and such with the barge. You know what I'm talking about?
Okay, yeah.
So north of that. So I did a little bit of looting, but this time I was by the way, I didn't see a single scav my first time through. This one, I was running through. I actually pulled up the map and I was trying to figure out where I was for a little while, and I couldn't figure it out. So I just saw the ocean. I said, I'm going to run to the ocean, and that'll be an easy vantage point to figure out where I am on the map. So I'm looking at it. I've gone down south. I've gone down along where the train tracks are and the road is, and I see the barge, and I'm oh, okay, so this is Scav Island. So I was terrified because one, it shows there's a scav spawn on the island, and also it's called Scav Island, so it sounded like a not good place to go. So I said, let's go there. I went across the barge, checked out the island, looted it, did all that kind of stuff. It was pretty cool. There was no scavs there. So I was well, listen, I'm going to try to figure out some extracts. I want to figure out this map a little bit, so when I go somewhere, I have an idea of where I'm going. If I'm playing this game, I want to know how to get to the extract points. So I left barge. I went across it, I went back to the beach, and I started walking east. And I was okay, well then, it looks like, pier boat should be the next place to go, because there's pier boat extract there. So I was okay, this is going to be easy. So I ran along the beach, I ran along onto the pier, I got to the pier boat, I was heck yeah, how do I get on the boat? So I started looking for because I don't know what extract looks like. I've never looked up a video about it by that point. So I'm looking around, I'm jumping around, it won't let me jump off the pier. It's I'm just looking to see maybe it'll let me open the door to the boat to get on the boat and drive it away or something. I don't know what extracting looks like, man, at this point. So after a while, okay, I'm doing something wrong here. This says this is an extract point. So I looked it up. I looked up pier boat extract point, Shoreline, and they're yeah, it's an RNG one. It don't let you leave if that light's on. The light wasn't on. Cool. So I said, all right, well, there's a lighthouse right beside me that says it's an extract point. Perfect. So I walked along the piers, walked along the beach, little part of the island where the lighthouse is, walked up to the lighthouse, climbed to the top. Nothing. Climbed down, and all around it, every little way, place, and form, everything I could find on that little island wouldn't let me extract. I was what am I doing wrong? What am I doing this time? So I looked up lighthouse. And then it was hard because there's a map called Lighthouse as well. So then I had to
You were at the wrong extract.
Yes, I was. It's a scav-only extract. I found that out by Googling it. Great. The map doesn't say that. So I said, all right, let's look along the beach. Oh, look. CCP temporary. Great. I'm going to run to that one. Find out it's an RNG one. Great. Let's find out if... I ran off the pier, ran to the beach, ran east as far as I could. Went to CCP temporary. Walked into a landmine. Lost one of my legs. Walked over to the extract. Oh look, the light's not on, so I can't extract from there. So, there's maybe 10 minutes left, maybe less at this point. I think a little bit less at this point, because I'm close to... I'm over here with one leg. My body's real messed up. I'm over here taking medicine. I pop in a painkiller, find out it lets me move fast while I'm in pain, and I'll just grunt the whole way. So then I went northwest or northeast. I say, okay, railway bridge is my last chance here. Am I going to be able to actually escape from Tarkov? In Escape from Tarkov. So I'm going northeast, pop another painkiller because, of course, I'm like running on like things that are not grass because I'm terrified of walking into another mine. I'm like, oh, there's a log. I'm gonna run on that, and then I jump to like the next log and crap. I was terrified this whole way from CCP temporary to Railway Bridge. So I said, okay, Railway Bridge is my last chance here. So I get up to Railway Bridge. I haven't looked up yet, and I go to the right side of it. Josh, you know what I'm talking about. I went to the right side of it. I walked up to where on the map shows the little extract point. I'm like, it's not letting me extract. Why? I kid you not, I'm down to a minute and a half at this point before the thing is over. So I pop another painkiller and I use some more meds and like splints and crap, and I look it up. You have to go to the left side of the railway bridge. So I had to walk all the way back. I have a minute left. I have to walk all the way back past the train. Like I walked all the way past the train to the very edge I could go, and I have to go all the way back on this dead leg. Came around to the left side. 3 seconds remaining in the map, and I extract at Railway Bridge.
Nice. Nice.
That was a real learning experience in Escape from Tarkov.
So let me ask you a question.
No scavs the whole way, by the way.
Did you turn that on?
Turn what on?
When you went offline mode, there's a section where you turn scavs on.
Oops.
It'll ask you, do you want scavs? Do you want scav bosses? Do you want a horde army?
Well, it makes sense to me that scavs would be in it normally. I didn't know I had to turn that on.
Same.
Well, it's you turn it on and off because if it's offline mode, you can either practice without having to like worry about getting killed by them, or you can like practice fighting them and learning.
Yeah.
But what were you looking at to see where your extracts were? Were you just going off of your other screen, the extracts?
No, on my phone. mapgenie.io/Tarkov/maps
Okay.
shoreline.
Here's the problem.
So
When you're in raid, double tap O. Or O. And it'll bring up a timer of how long you have left in raid and the extracts that you have available to you.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so instead of looking at your phone and going around the map to hit the different extracts, just double tap O. It'll tell you how much time's left in the raid and what extracts you have available to you.
That would have been very helpful to me.
Yeah.
All right, well, real fast, the third one was not as eventful. I spawned near swamp. I thought I was near swamp because I was walking through. I was in the middle of a village. This is my third raid. The first one was 45. So the first one was like a good 30 minutes at least. The second one was a straight 45. This one, not as long, but it took me a little while. I thought I spawned in swamp near the top left, like close to Path to Lighthouse. So I said, okay, let's make this a quick and easy one. I'm going to try the Lighthouse extract. I started trying to go that way. I was having a hard time figuring out my bearings. So I said, okay, let's try to look for some power lines. And because like the area I spawned was like swampy and wet and you could not sprint in it. So I was like, okay, that makes sense. It's probably swamp. Turns out it wasn't. I was farther east than that. But I was like closer to, what is it? Like cottage. It was like in the middle of the map. Fields.
Yeah.
And I found some power lines, so I went to that and I followed it until I found this part of the map. I found power station, where there's 3 power line things right in a line beside each other, and that was easy to figure out where I was then. I was like, oh, okay, perfect. Then I found the little bridge here. So I just followed power lines east. I followed the power lines that went kind of northeast from there, and I just walked and walked and walked, and I looted when I saw like, I tried to learn the map as much as I could in the time I had. But anytime I saw a little thing in the map, I looted it. I found like little caches, like little round caches on the ground and such. And it was,
oh, good.
Yeah, I found a few of those. It's fun to try to like learn that. And I ran northeast across the power lines until it broke off. And I went like east, found the edge, found road to customs, and I extracted. It was like the easiest thing in the world. I didn't have scavs turned on, I guess. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah.
But that was my experience. And I think that it helped me understand more about the game and what it was about, because in my 2 hours when I played online in factory with all those other people PvPing, I found one thing to loot in all that time, and I didn't find a single extract point. So doing this was very helpful in my understanding of the game and like learning a map and that sort of thing.
So a couple things is I wanted to
Yeah.
teach you guys the healing mechanics. Because like pain pills are like for your legs if they're broken
Mhm.
and you don't have anything to fix them, you can run on them. But each pain pill, like you have painkillers, you have Vaseline, and I can't remember the other one, Golden Star,
Okay.
Augmentin, and ibuprofen. Each one takes a certain amount of time to open up and use, and each one has a certain amount of time that it's active.
Yeah.
But like light bleeds, only certain bandages work for. Heavy bleeds, only certain bandages work with.
There's so much.
Yeah, there's a lot of meds.
So much to it.
But your raids, it's beautiful because you went from a terrible first raid, you got glitched, you got stuck, couldn't do anything about it. The second one was 3 seconds from becoming a second terrible raid.
Yep.
But when you got out,
I'm
you
learning
feel
though.
no, but like it was close. But the
Yeah.
end of it, like you feel so victorious because like you had 3 seconds
Yeah.
left. Like you went through all that, and then you get out, and you're like, wow.
I really was like literally 3 seconds on the timer, not like I was like 30 seconds
Oh
away.
yeah,
And I called
I've
it
had
good. It
raids
was
like
like
that.
at the very end. Like I did not think I was gonna make it. Honestly, it all
Yeah.
depended on how long the extract took to extract me at that point. So that was.
And then your final raid was just beauty. Just came together,
Yeah.
figured out where you were, and you got out. No issues.
Yeah.
So I like the progression of that.
And whether or not I go online this week, I'm at least going to keep learning Shoreline because I don't want to start learning a bunch of other maps still.
I
At the
agree. I
moment.
agree.
I'd rather just learn one for now and have a better idea of where I am when I spawn. Regardless, I'm gonna at least play with scavs. I did not know that was a thing that I had to turn on. So
I wouldn't mess with those settings. I wouldn't just jump straight into online. Play a couple offline if you can with scavs so
I
you
want to
can
do
get the
combat.
PvE.
Yeah, I want to
Yeah.
do combat and like get
Yeah.
an idea of like how I'm supposed to actually like fight these guys when I see them.
Yep.
And I can't imagine I'm somebody like until I get really good at the game, I'm probably gonna hide and just like if I'm online, I'm probably not gonna I'm gonna avoid fights as much as possible and just try to loot what I can and get out.
Listen, that's a topic I want to touch on today, but like that is a play style. If you want to play like that, it's 100% an option. So, Andrew, tell about your raids. I have a couple things we're going to discuss about your raids, but I want to hear.
So I was playing for about an hour and a half ish before Josh got on. And I'm pretty sure the reason he got on is because I sent him a text saying that I hope whoever made this game drinks lemonade, finds out that there's no sugar, and they're also allergic to lemons. Because this game is abhorrent to me still. I will admit that things got a little better. Like I started to understand the quote objective that there isn't any of, but also went in offline mode for those like that like hour and a half ish. And I also did not know that you could turn on or off scavs, so I just didn't know they weren't there. But bro, my stealth was on point in those matches because I was ducking through trees, crawling through bushes, and apparently I didn't even need to. But I decided to play interchange the whole. Well, I played customs once, and then Josh was like, "Why don't you play interchange? It's a bit easier." So I played interchange for a bit offline. Same deal. I was just trying to get my bearings. I took the same kind of approach you did, Nathan, with I just wanted to try to learn a map, run around, explore. I took a little bit of a different approach the second time because when I changed maps, I thought, you know what? I'm sick of this. This is boring, just kind of crouching through woods. I at least want to see some action. So I was like, let me just sprint everywhere. Let me run through places, trying to find a firefight. At least, get the idea of, because again, I'm still also learning how to like use mouse and key when it comes to FPS games. So I'm like, let me get some experience in this. Nothing, absolutely nothing. I was like, dude, I start looking at my map then, and I'm like, there's supposed to be scavs here. There's supposed to be a scav boss here. Like, why am I not running into anything? I was fully prepared to die. I was like, let's bring it on. Nothing. I was like, man, what in the world? This game's so weird. And so I'm running around. I extracted both times, but I mean, it's offline, so it doesn't mean anything. So I just found the extract points and left. At that point, I went on for a third time. Still didn't find anybody after I ran straight. I spawned like I don't know where it is because I can't think of the map off the top of my head. But it was in Interchange. There's kind of like a little mall in the middle, and there's like 3 major stores, like just their version of IKEA and a couple other things. And so I knew the place where I spawned because I'd spawned there in my like first or second game when I played with Josh and his friends. I was like, oh, I know where I'm at. I know where to extract. So, I ran right in there because last time we did that, I ran in there, found people, was told not to shoot and crouch and stay away, which was really annoying, but I listened like a good little boy and we survived. But I was like, let me go find these people now because I want to do what I want. I want to try to kill some things. I want to fight. Nothing. It's like, man, I'm irritated. So Josh was like, "You gonna be on for a while?" And I totally lied to him. I was like, "Yeah, I'll be on until you get on." It's like, "Yeah, I'll be on in a few hours." I was like, "No, I'm not." So after that, I texted him maybe a few minutes after I told him I'd be on. I was like, "Yeah, I'm busy." I was busy because I was stressed. I took a nap until he told me he got on, and I was like, "All right, I'll be on in a few minutes." I was like, this is just not fun. I'm trying to enjoy it. But offline mode just doesn't seem like it's for me. Like I maybe it's because I'm more trial by fire and I'd rather just die and keep trying, but that's just my play style. I love stealth games, don't get me wrong. The Hitman series, absolutely wonderful. I love trying to be sneaky, but I also want to kill. I have the need for bloodlust when I play video games like this. I just need it. So so I just was like, you know what? I'll play when Josh gets on, so we get on. Played Interchange some more. I don't even remember our first raid, to be
Oh, I
completely
do.
honest.
Oh, I do.
I was that the first one when we went in as scavs?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so okay. So again, as scavs, you have predetermined equipment.
Just
It's
random
randomized.
RNG equipment.
And Josh, I get in, and I just thought it was like this is just what my dude looked like. I thought I'd have different gear, but apparently what they preview on the screen is exactly what you have. So I've got this like motorcycle helmet with a visor. I was like, that's kind of cool. And I've got just what I think is some rifle with a scope on it. And Josh is like, "Whoa, you got this thermal scope!" And I was like, "Okay." And it's funny to me because I obviously have no idea that apparently the RNG deities just love me for some reason since I found some $1.5 million item my first raid. Now I'm finding apparently these really good items and weapons and stuff. So I was like, okay. And Josh was like, we need to get you extracted. We don't need to do anything else. You're leaving. It's like, oh, okay. That's fine. So we left. There wasn't
No,
much
we
to it
didn't.
that I remember.
Oh,
We
there
didn't?
was so much to it. So
Help
last
me.
week, Andrew's first raid, bless you, he finds a LEDX. Now it's a really good in-game item that's worth like almost 2 mil when you sell it on the flea market.
And once again, when you start off, you get like 500,000. So like
Yeah,
you're
every account has
quadrupling getting it right off the
500,000.
bat. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one item quadruples your whole cash stash. So we go to load in a scav, and with the scav, you load in with random gear, and if you die, you lose it, but you're not having like it's just free to you. So I'm looking at our loading characters, and I'm like, Andrew, what's on your gun? And I get closer to the screen. I'm like, bro, you have a thermal scope on your gun. They thermal scopes when they were on the flea market used to be almost 2 mil. But now they're so good and OP that they took them off the flea market. So now you have to do barter trades for them that cost a lot of money. So they're not just super easy to get.
When you start as a scav, obviously when you die, you lose the stuff that it predetermined for you. But if you extract, do you keep that stuff?
Yes.
And
Why
everything you
why does
find.
it sound like being a scav is better?
It just depends. You don't have good gear to fight people with, so it's more that stealth stuff.
It almost seems like it's better to start off as a scav to learn the game when you want to play and not have to lose all your stuff.
Well, that's what I told you. Do offline and scavs. But the thing is your
As a
scavs.
scav,
You
Yeah,
can't play as a scav offline, I don't
no,
believe.
not offline. If you're gonna play online, do a scav, and
Okay.
offline, play your PMC.
okay.
But with a scav, you spawn in with like only 20, 25 minutes left in the raid. And until you level your character, your scav timer, like the timer in between your scav runs, is 18 minutes. So if you play it and you die, or you play it and you extract, either way, once you use it once, you have 18 minutes you have to wait till you can use it again.
Interesting.
Which, I mean, I guess you could do a scav raid and then go do an offline raid and then go back and do a scav raid. That way it's somewhat helping your online account. But we get in, I'm like, all right, Andrew, I'm just going to get some things real quick and then we're going to leave. Like, we're going to get you out. So he's like, well, my game's like, you're just standing there running. I'm like, no, Andrew, I'm gone. He's like, no, you're standing there. Boom, server disconnect for him. So I'm running around looting. I'm like, okay, well, let me know when you're back in. So we're waiting. It took like 2-3 minutes. And he gets in, and I'm like, Andrew, do you understand where you're on the map? I was like, let's learn your position because our extract is right behind you. So we're waiting. Boom, server disconnect again. I'm like, oh my gosh. So there's a big fight by where Andrew was. Someone died. There's gunshots. And I'm like, well, I don't expect to come back and Andrew still be alive. So I'm hiding and I'm waiting because I'm watching his load-in screen on Discord. Boom, he's back in. His character's laying down. I said, get up, we're leaving. So we got up, we left, and he got the scope out. I'm like, you could sell it if you want, or you could take it into a raid and we can teach you to snipe. So he got to see it a little bit. It's like, what was it, like a black screen with the red person running around, or is it white?
Yeah, it was the heat signature, so you'd see the red of each person.
So for a couple raids, he kept getting disconnected, so it was frustrating.
It was everyone I played with him. Don't let him lie.
No, there's like 1 or 2 at the end where he didn't disconnect.
I only had 6 raids, and 5 of them I disconnected at least once. 7 years invading.
We then went in as a PMC, and I'm like, Andrew, you don't like to be up close and personal, and it's going to be easier to teach you to snipe so you can kill people from far away. Let me bring you in a sniper. It's not a real good one, but it'll drop people. Well, we spawn in the middle of the road, and he cannot hear me. I'm like, come on, Andrew.
So instead of Tarkov being the problem child, this time it was Discord. So I'm talking to Josh. He can't hear me because my mic's not working, or Discord. Something's wrong with Discord. So I'm talking to him, and I'm like, man, here we go. We're having issues again. He just can't hear me. I'm just going to follow him, I guess, as best as I can. And I hear bullets, and I'm like, oh, man. And when I looked ahead of me, there was a guy, like, kind of facing me. But I guess he didn't see me. And I just assumed it was not Josh. So Josh had texted me while we were having these issues saying he couldn't hear me. And I didn't read it. So I just aim down sight, boom, headshot. I'm like, cool, this is cool. I get a call as soon as I kill this guy, and it's Josh. And I'm like, I just killed Josh. I know I just killed Josh. So I pick up my phone. I'm like, did I kill you? He was like, no, you killed someone. That was a player. I was like, what? And so apparently his team was pretty close because they ended up wiping me after that. But yeah, I just assumed I'd killed Josh because, there's been times where I was playing with him and his buddies, and to help me find them, they would just pop off a shot in the air, and I'd be like, oh, you're that way. Let me go. And that's what I just kind of assumed happened after I killed him, and I got a call because, like, man, he has done that before, and I think I just killed my teammate. But no, I got lucky enough I killed someone, and I was like, that's when I was like, yeah, let me go get some more people. So, I'm running. Josh is like, stop running. Crouch, sit here, wait for their team to come. I'm like, no, I don't want to. So I'm just like looking around. I'm like doing 180s the whole time. And of course, I like to call it Call of Duty timing. Once your back is to someone, that's when they come out and engage. So I turned around just in time to get shot maybe once or twice. And that was that raid. So I died, but I felt more successful because, I did something. I didn't just leave. But that was most of what I did, and then I think we did 1 or 2 more, and again just kind of left after having connection issues. But it was a decent time.
It was rough. Discord caused some issues yesterday. There was a lot of just random. Andrew would have to keep disconnecting from Discord and then joining the call again. But we spawned in the middle of the street, And I started walking towards Power Station because there's a spawn there. Well, I'm watching Andrew on Discord, and Andrew's walking the different direction. I'm like, Andrew, come on. Andrew, we're going this way. Don't go that way. No. I'm like, what the heck, man? So, like, I'm trying to watch the Power Station spawn, and all of a sudden I hear, boom. And I look over, and on his screen, I just see him drop somebody. I'm like, is that a player? What was that? So I get up and turn around and I scope in on the body and it was a player. I'm like, yeah, Andrew, you killed somebody. Well, all this Andrew can't hear. So I'm laying there and all of a sudden from the direction I was just looking, the power station, when I got up to turn around to look at where Andrew was looking, I hear people running. So I'm like, oh crap, there's people coming. So I go to lay down and then I'm using my phone. I told Siri to call Andrew. And he's like, hello? I'm like, Andrew, don't move. There's people behind us. Boom. I got killed right away. I'm like, Andrew, just don't move. Just wait. I don't know what they're going to do, and I don't know if they can see you. And then he's like, boom, I'm dead. I'm like, well, that's Discord for you. So it was Discord made Tarkov harder. So
See, but
that's one of the.
I felt far more successful engaging in other people, even though I died.
Yeah.
You wanted to talk about, what defines a successful raid. For me, I feel like it's more of, I understand the quote idea behind it is you want to get loot and you want to get out. You want to better your character, better your home base or whatever it's called. That's boring to me. Like not having, I would rather play a game that makes me, swim through some waves than just, go through a swimming pool back and forth. I want a little bit of resistance. I want something that is fun, like that can challenge me a little bit, but maybe with some guidance as we discussed previously. But yeah, I felt like I was more successful on the raid that I lost everything that I had versus whenever I got some good gear and I was just like, wow, this was not a good time.
It's hard because everybody has a different. With Tarkov, you can play so many different styles and enjoy the game so many different ways.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's my stats. It's having enough money in my hideout to that when I get out of raid, I can go to the flea market and buy better guns to go into another raid with to be a little bit stronger than I was before. With you, it doesn't matter what you have. You just want to kill something, even if you die, because it makes you feel better. And that's still a good way to play because, you got to think about it. You killed that player, so now you just took the chance of him getting his stuff back. He took all that time to get into the raid, and you just kicked him back to the lobby. And with Nathan likes the stealth. He wants to get a little bit PvE to see how it works, but he also likes the looting and figuring things out. So, I mean, 3 people right here playing 3 different ways.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no right or wrong way. So
I think overall to me, it's like, again, because I want an objective and the game is called Escape from Tarkov. I feel like if I just sneak around, leave, I've beaten the game. What else do I need to do now? I mean, it doesn't seem like there's enough incentive for me at least to just keep coming back. Yeah, I can take care of my HQ, I can get better guns, but like at the end of the day, it's that same gameplay loop. And at least with something like some other games that we've all played together, like we've played Overwatch, it seems all of us have played. Some of us have played like Call of Duty. Like that gameplay loop is similar, but I still have to prove that I'm better than everyone else in that instance, in order to win. Versus I just have to, I can spawn in, especially as a scav. Like I can spawn in, I already have gear. Maybe it's good, maybe it's not. Maybe I loot a little bit and then I'm gone, and then that's the game. I don't feel like I've accomplished much that way.
That's why I
That's
only
just
play.
me personally.
Yeah, that's why I only play Fortnite once every 2 weeks.
Too easy, huh?
well, now I know how to play the game with you next time. Next time, we'll just get you set up to watch an area to try to kill people coming through it instead of trying for loot.
Gosh,
Yeah,
So-
and it would definitely be fun. I would think maybe next time we play, maybe I'll play with Nathan next time. We'll do some online raid. Yeah. And we won't extract because I have trouble finding them. But we could,
I'll help.
I mean, yeah, I would definitely say that, maybe we would go in as a scav once, maybe get a little bit of equipment so I can prepare instead of not having much. And then we'll go in PMC and we'll take a dub, my man. We'll escape and we might catch a body or two on the way.
We better.
What were we going to say, Nathan?
Do people in that game just like straight up camp out an extract just to kill somebody who shows up to it?
Yes.
That's scary.
So there is a quest called Shooter Born in Heaven. On 4 of the maps, you have to get a headshot from 100 meters or more. Now, the end game for most people is to hit level 70 and unlock the Kappa container. So you know how you guys have that little 2x2 container on your character that whatever you put in it, you can't lose?
Yeah.
Well, the Kappa, I believe, is a 4x3. So it gives you way more room.
How do you get that?
It's through a quest line.
Oh, so doing the quest is really good because that would be huge to have extra space where you can't buy it.
Yeah, but to get to that quest goal, you'll have to invest a lot of time into the game.
Gotcha.
But one of the quests to get to that point is Shooter Born in Heaven. So like on Interchange, that roof, Andrew, when we spawned as a scav, that platform where you kept laying down, there's a metal roof there that you can run up these steps and jump on top of the roof, and you can lay on the roof and watch people going to that tent extract that we kept going out. And that's 100 meters. So Interchange used to be one of the maps, but they took it away because it's not big enough on the outside to decently get chances to get the 100-meter headshot. But like people will extract camp on that roof, watch people kill them, loot their stuff, and then leave. The forest area by that extract, past the tents, people will sit there and watch people come to them and kill them. I mean, every map has a way for people to extract camp. It's just, is there a bush that they can hide in? Can they hear you get to the extract? Can they kill you before the timer gets you out of there? Because that's another gameplay. That is an easy way for people to go unnoticed, kill, get loot, and then leave.
I'm glad you mentioned that because it reminded me that one of the disconnect issues that we had, I think it was maybe our second raid together. We're running out, and I was a little bored just because, again, it just wasn't a fun loop for me at the time. But we're there, we're about to extract, and I'm like, yeah, victory shot, bang! And I shot, and I disconnected 1 second before I was extracted. So I'm like, oh, I thought I extracted. No, I lost connection to the game, and I'm like, I gotta go back there and extract. Oh crap, everybody just heard me shoot at the extraction point. I'm gonna come in and be dead. Lucky for me, I guess there just weren't that many players about, and I extracted, but it was kind of funny.
I think that was the same one you had the thermal scope on.
Possibly.
But when we were getting ready to set up today, I was playing one last Tarkov game while you were getting your settings and stuff done. And I was running to extract, and somebody took a shot at me, and the bullet was so strong, it messed up most of my body.
In real life?
Oh yeah, I'm damaged. Look at my hair. But I laid down behind this hill, and they threw a grenade. Well, the grenade bounced past me and didn't kill me. So I VoIPed in game, and I was like, please don't kill me. I'm only a level 11. And the guy goes, drop your gun, stand up. We won't kill you. So I got up, dropped my gun, and when you drop your gun, he pulls out his little melee weapon. So I'm standing there, and they run up, and these dudes have like end game gear, level 6 armor, super meta weapons, and I'm like, I'm dead. They're just gonna kill me. I've got like this little gun, and I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. He's like, no, are you all right? I'm like, well, I'm messed up. So I'm starting to bandage myself while they're like guns in my face. And I'm like, listen, I'm dying from starvation. Do you have food? So now they're throwing food at my feet, and they're like, have a good day. So they just fed me ran off and extracted, and I'm sitting there bandaging, eating food, and I'm like, well, can I pick my weapon up? So I was like, hello. Nobody answered, so I just picked my gun up, ran. They were already gone, and then I extracted.
That's
So
incredible. Wait, Josh, what
I
level
know.
are you actually?
I'm level 11.
Oh, you. Wait, that's it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
wipe the server every so often, so like you get back to
So
level 0, and
that's
So
not.
you weren't.
They
I thought you
wanted-
were lying. Like you were
No,
like a little baby player or something.
I look like a brand new player. Like this, I didn't have any good guns or
Yeah.
anything. But when they wiped the game back in December, I was playing another game and I didn't spend a whole lot of time. And now like I want to play Tarkov more. So I've been playing. So I'm only level 11 because I only play on Saturdays and Sundays.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And but I mean VoIP in the game made that whole thing so much more interesting.
That is why I love fine VoIP. I don't like that term, but I don't like that word.
Prox chat.
It comes out weird.
That's what they
Proximity
call
chat.
it.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean it's all the same thing. But regardless, I love that. It just leads to such cool interactions in games. Like sometimes there'll be people who just help you out because you shout it out. You're like, no, please leave me alone. I'm just a little baby.
I remember
VoIP
I was
was
playing.
hilarious.
Go ahead, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I love it. I was playing Warzone with one of my buddies who he watches this podcast, so he'll know. He helped me out. We had so at the beginning of Warzone, you just have a pistol, and they drop you in, you parachute in. Usually, you just kill a bunch of people where you're at, try to get better gear. So because we all used Prox chat, we were running duos. So we had each team had just 2 people, and we stop at this popular gas station initially. And I'm over Prox chat, and usually it never works. Like people just are like they either won't listen, or they'll be like, "Oh yeah, let's team up," and they just immediately stab you in the back. So you half expect it. And once we got one other team to agree to it, 2 other players, me and my buddy, we were in this lobby and we held, it was like a 8 to 10 man fisticuffs tournament on the top of this gas station. And it was great because everyone throws down their weapons. I was like the unofficial timer. So people would run in and just start like punching. And when we saw there was this poor duo who was like across the street who took shots at us, everybody pulled out their pistols and jumped off of the gas station and just lit these dudes up. And then they came back to finish the tournament. It was the greatest thing.
That's
It was awesome.
fantastic.
It was.
Funny.
So one more. We have one more Tarkov talking point. I don't know if that's what you were about to get into.
Yeah, Andrew, I want you to discuss your inventory management playing Tetris.
Yeah, so I didn't have horrible inventory management.
For those that don't know,
Mhm.
Andrew and Nathan bought the basic version of the game. So your stash, the area where you keep all of your gear, is way smaller than the game package that I have. So mine's almost like double the size of theirs. So go ahead.
So yes, so I didn't realize there were certain things you could do just because I don't know, I guess I just didn't think of it. It wasn't a huge concern of mine. But obviously you can rotate things, and like you'd mentioned, Josh, it's like kind of like a game of Tetris. You just got to fit things in certain corners and rotate it. And so I had done a decent job, and Josh was like, "We need to fix your inventory." I was like, "Well, I mean, everything fits. It's not a problem." But I didn't think of like putting backpacks inside of backpacks and having some gear that can hold other items. Yeah, I didn't think of having like a vest that can hold some items to put that inside of the backpack to save space, and it was all sorts of just inception going on. But I mean, it definitely helped out. We took some time and just kind of each did our own thing. So I had my nice little ammo stash up top and some food and some medical gear. It was interesting. It was interesting.
Nathan, so I'm going to ask you a question, and then I'm going to ask you another question.
Okay.
Have you played a scav yet?
No, I've not actually.
So this is going to be something pointed at you that I kind of talked to Andrew about when we were playing yesterday. When you go in as a scav and you extract, when you come to the main menu, you have to unload everything off of your scav into your stash. And then you hit next, and it loads, and then it goes back to your regular home screen. If you hit next without unloading your scav, you lose everything you just brought out of that raid.
Good to know.
So the big thing about having space is if you go and play as a scav, you need to make sure that if you get out and you come back to unload your scav, you have room to put everything.
Yeah. Oh, don't
So
worry. Listen, I have a nearly empty stash from my first week in Tarkov.
Well, I was going to ask, have you done, that was my second question, have you done any inventory management, but that answers
I don't
it.
need that yet because I've
No,
Yeah, I mean, if
done
he
a lot
plays
offline.
offline, yeah.
Yeah, I think actually what I'm going to do this week, my initial plan from everything we've talked about and what I've learned, I'm probably going to play Scav when I can and do Shoreline and do online and try to just like loot a little bit and extract and play safe and see what I can get. See if I can like build up some stuff. And when I can't because of the timer, then I'm going to go into offline and learn more about the map, that sort of thing. I think that sounds like a good plan.
Remember, always hit O, double tap it to
Yeah,
check
so you can see
your
where you,
extract. Because remember, your scav extracts will be different mostly than your PMC extracts.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Josh mentioned it, but you can also tell on those extractions which ones are the optional ones. When you check your extraction in game, they'll actually have question marks beside it. So you at least know it's a gamble to go there versus whether it's a sure thing.
Good to know.
So, like, there's the car extract. Shoreline does not have the car extract. So I guess that's kind of replaced with the pure boat extract. The only map that has a permanent car extract is Woods. It's there every time. Customs, interchange, off the top of my head are the other maps that have car extracts, but they're RNG.
Okay.
So, and you have to have money to pay for the car to get out.
If you were
But
to
me and
suggest,
Andrew used
sorry.
me and Andrew used the car extract, so I showed him that one on interchange.
Josh loaned me 5K. I still owe him.
No, you're good.
If you were to suggest a second map for me to try out of the three that we've mentioned, other than like
Interchange.
or interchange, okay, I'll give interchange a try.
It seems simple to pick up, at least, from a perspective of, because when I did my first like raid or two offline, I did go to customs, which was a little bit more difficult to get my bearings, but interchange, it's basically a big square with a couple other squares in it, so it's not too hard to.
There he goes.
I suggest interchange. So every map has a section on it that is known for PvP.
Yeah.
Shoreline, the PvP is resort.
Really?
Massive area for PvP. Factory, the whole map is for PvP.
Yeah, I know. I learned that.
Interchange, the inside of the mall, the middle of the mall, which I try to keep Andrew out of, is the big place for PvP.
1v1 fisticuffs.
That's
Customs, it's kind of all over the place, but dorms is the big part for PvP. So I would play interchange. If you stay on the outside of the map, it's really like a gigantic square with a shopping mall in the middle.
Okay. Good to know.
So, and there's a lot of there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There's 12 stashes on the outside of the map. Meow.
Hi, Luna.
Goodbye, kitty.
She did not like being picked up.
Welcome to the UFC. That cat looks like she'd make some good Chinese food.
She's an excellent cook.
I could see her with a little walk, cooking her sister or something.
I could see her in the walk.
So you didn't talk too much on what you consider a successful raid to be. I know you heard my point of view and kind of what Nathan does, but what do you consider a quote successful raid?
I don't know if I straight up asked Nathan what he considers. Nope. But for me, it's just surviving. I mean, if you go into a raid, you live, and you get out, you didn't lose gear. You gain experience points for your player, which at the end, whatever mission goal you have, if it's Kappa, you just earned experience too. Whatever you looted, You can sell it and make money, or you can use it for your hideout. And if you killed something on the way, you can take whatever they have and get out. So whether it's just looting and leaving or killing something and leaving, it's really just surviving. I consider a good raid if I survive.
I agree with the man in the beard.
I think it's time for the ultimate draft, the fantasy draft.
Insert banner here, fantasy draft time.
That's our, we're going with that. So, everybody, welcome back to the fantasy draft. This week, in the fantasy draft corner, we have, what's your favorite Pokemon? Josh.
Yeehaw! Nah, bro, you start.
Oh, what? No, I think last week, listen, Andrew gave us the topic and had me start. So this time I
Indeed.
topic, which is what is your favorite Pokemon?
Oh,
So remember, we're gonna have two choices, and we should define our parameters a little bit.
Yeah,
Is it just our favorite? Is it gonna be, are we going on practicality on if it was in the real world, like just battle stats? What are we going with?
my number one pick in this year's fantasy Pokemon draft, Dragonite.
Oh, okay. Why do you pick Dragonite? Is he just your favorite? Is that why?
I just love how big he is, and he's just my favorite.
It's like looking in a mirror, isn't it?
Aerodynamic dragon I've ever seen in my life. I don't know how the thing
It
flies.
comes from a little.
Have you ever seen
worm.
Josh run though? He's very not aerodynamic, but he gets a moving, bro. He gets a moving.
Yeah. Have you ever seen, like, he comes from a little worm-looking thing with like balls on its face, and then he turns into this massive non-aerodynamic dragon.
He's
What's
like,
not
he
to
comes
love?
into being and he's like, my cousin's Charizard.
I don't get it. I mean, Dragon. Listen, I love all Pokemon equally, but I have to argue with the people's choices here because it makes it more entertaining, and I just don't get what. I mean, do you know any Pokemon past the original 151, or is it just Dragonite and Charizard?
Bro, he's calling you a Gen 1er.
I'm a Gen 1er. But
Well,
as the people know from last week's podcast with your fry choice, that you're probably wrong on this too.
Oh, your taste is garbage.
Your taste is Garbodor, baby! Gen 5. Andrew, what is your favorite Pokemon? Number one, first choice.
So if we're going with just favorite, I guess it's become pretty mainstream now, so, I'll take the heat for it, but I have always been a fan of Gengar. He's my favorite color.
I knew he
Ghost was a pretty cool type. He seems like he's just a chubby little prankster, which is, that's what I am, so I was like, I identify with this guy. He's a chubby little guy who likes to make jokes, and yeah.
Haunter was 10 times better. I don't know why they just made like a reverse Clefable. It was weird.
Because everything's better when it's slightly overweight.
Nathan, what's your number one pick?
Do we really want to know what my number one pick is? I feel like one of you could guess it. I feel like one of you could guess it.
I feel like I should, but I can't. And you're
going to
be disappointed.
But I don't want to disappoint you.
There's no Pokemon better than Dunsparce. Here is 5 reasons why Dunsparce is the best Pokemon. Let's, I can just do it in the editing or something, but basically we got ourselves a little Dunsparce right here, this fella. He is just this chubby little snake with a little
How do I
on the
leave?
end of him. And, Dunsparce is based on this, ancient myth, like this ancient Chinese fat snake thing that can barely do anything. And that's what Dunsparce was based off of. And he has these little wings that he can't use. He just flaps around, and I just love him so much.
Nice.
Josh, what is your second
little
choice?
Dunsparce? So how about, we've picked our favorites, so how about, why don't you pick a Pokemon for like everyday practicality? Like, who would you like to just have chilling with you, doing life stuff?
Interesting.
Nathan, you go.
No, Josh, you go first. I just gave my
snake style.
What we did last time is I went and then you went again, and then Josh went last and first. Well, I wasn't that everyday practicality.
Indeed.
Yeah, but when it comes to practicality, like, what are we talking about? Can
Anything
some
like how
Pokemon
it
make
can be used
sandwiches
in
and
your
other
life.
can't?
I mean, this is true. I mean, Dunsparce couldn't make a sandwich.
If you were an artist, you might want to pick
Smeargle, bro.
Smeargle. That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. If you, in my head, what immediately comes to mind is like Pokemon that can fly and fly really well.
That'd be cool.
Because up there immediately I think of Salamence, but is that my choice? Salamence is
Oh,
super
I like
cool.
Salamence.
He's just one of the coolest dragons, and he's super aerodynamic. You see that boy? That boy be flying.
He kind of
But
chunk though.
he's
But continue.
he's not that chunk. You look at Dragonite and you look at Salamence. There's no honestly.
See, but a Dragonite is more like, oh, he coming, and you know, Salamence is more like,
oh Lord, Dragonite coming.
Salamence is like a whale flying through the sky.
You know, this is kind of my choice offhand. Oh man, Metagross is so cool, but he's not as practical. Dude, I have so many favorite Pokemon, but practicality, I could just fly anywhere in Salamence, and Salamence is my choice.
But that's not practical.
And
I can just fly for free.
You can fly. He has free transportation. If it's anything like the games, it's pretty instantaneous.
Exactly.
It's pretty quick, and you're flying in on a dragon. Like that's the flex.
He can only do one thing.
So he can only know one move. That's it.
But you're saying you're picking him because he can fly.
Yeah,
so
that's
you're
my
saying
practicality. It can get me places really easily and really quickly. Like, and also, I mean, I'd use him to help me rob banks, but that's like a different practicality.
Fair.
All right, Andrew, what's your practicality?
I believe it's your turn, isn't it?
No, back to you.
Yours.
All right. Let's see. For practicality, it's a good question. Feel like not going with something flying would be stupid as well. So, something that could fly is kind of key. But, something for everyday life. You know what? I'm gonna go a little different. I don't know why I would need it for everyday life, but I feel like just having a Machamp around would make life a little bit easier. You know, he's obviously super strong. You know, so I mean, it's not like I need to move things too much, but dude, moving is not gonna suck anymore with Machamp around. You know, you need something moved, and there's the intimidation factor.
Mm-hmm.
You know, oh, I want 2 seats to the movies, please, to go watch the new Spider-Man movie. And they're like, sorry, we're out of tickets. And Machamp just kind of flexes, and they're like, oh, hey, we found 2 more tickets on us. You know, but no, I think it'd just be fun. I feel like he'd be cool to hang out with too. He seems like he's a gym bro for sure. So he'd definitely get me swole. I'd get in shape being around Machamp. And yeah, I guess that's who I'd pick.
Not a bad choice.
Can't fly, but he can bench press better than anyone in the world.
Throw you really far, and you'd feel like you were flying until you died.
Until I die, yeah. So, Josh, practicality pick.
Charizard.
What is practical about Charizard?
He can fly.
Can he move to learn fly, though? Did they change that eventually? They did? Okay, that's good.
He is a great party trick at barbecues.
What?
Always can keep you warm.
He can always keep you dead.
I feel like he could make sandwiches because doesn't he have fingers?
Bro, Machamp could make so many sandwiches at a time. Get on my level.
Listen, bro is so strong. If he tries to open the bag to get the bread out, he's just gonna rip the bag and the bread's gonna go everywhere.
Okay,
and Charizard is gonna breathe, and everything's gonna burn down in your house. There's been one Pokemon that has shown that he will be disobedient to his master at any point, and it has always been Charizard. And you're like, that's my guy.
That just means I'm a stronger master.
Yeah, okay. We'll find out.
I'm always going to have grilled ham and cheese sandwiches on demand.
You're going to be the ham and cheese on demand.
Burnt ham and cheese sandwiches.
That's right.
Hey, crispy things are always good.
I just can't wait to get my Dunsparce. I'm so excited.
Just a little guy putting around the house.
I love him so much.
On that note, Shuckle's pretty great too.
Shuckle's a good time. Shuckle is like that guy at the party that is he's not really going to partake in any of the weird stuff that goes on, but that like if you get in a fight, he'll just step in front of you between you and the aggressor, and what is that guy going to do? Shuckle is the highest defense out of any Pokemon. Nothing. That guy
I
would defend
change
you
my
anytime.
practicality.
No, well you can't.
No, but what would you do?
For content? Sure, go for it.
Ditto.
Ditto's cool.
That's a good question. Could he transform into everyday things, or would it just be Pokemon?
Can Dittos transform into inanimate objects? Because I think they can.
Because if they can, that's a huge dub.
Yeah, anything.
Huge dub, dude.
Anything.
Huge dub. You might have just won the bet.
He has to be able to see the thing, though. Like Dittos have to be able to see the thing that they're transforming.
That's fine. That's fine. Just show them a picture in your phone. Oh, this is a microwave. Turn into a microwave.
Too dumb turns into phone with the picture of the microwave on it.
But that's the thing, though. In the end, it's just what are you doing?
Get it, kitty.
What was that? In the end, it's really not like okay. Ditto, transform into microwave, and then he transforms into a microwave, but he's not going to have microwaving powers. He's just going to look like a microwave.
That's not true though, because when he transforms into a Pokemon, he learns their moveset. So wouldn't he be able to pick up the basic capability of what it can do?
Dude, I don't know. Your Ditto is my first and second choice.
Yeah. So I would say, like, I would think Ditto could, quote unquote, turn into a physics professor, but I don't think he would be the smartest physics professor. You know what I'm saying? He would just be like run of the mill. I got my degree, maybe at community college, but overall,
Ditto, when it transforms, does it completely take the exact perfect molecular shape and like every molecule, every atom is exactly the same? Is it that good? Because one, it has to see a specific physics professor. And is it
true?
So if a Ditto can transform into a Charizard and shoot fire, then why can't it transform into a physics professor and have a super, as good of a brain as that physics professor? Like, is it 1-to-1? These are the questions that matter.
It would take over the same ability as the person or thing it was.
That does make more sense.
So Ditto is number 1, 2, and 3. This is
so what if we get a picture? What if we show Ditto Stephen Hawking and then someone with a working pair of legs? Like, would he be able to do both, or would he just turn into legs?
What are Dittos? In my head, a Ditto is not going to be able to transform into Stephen Hawking unless it actually is able to see Stephen Hawking in person. Like, if it just sees a picture or a video of Stephen Hawking, I don't think it's going to be the same. Like, I feel like it has to have some measure of being in the same area as the thing it's seeing, rather than just seeing a picture of something. Because a picture of something is not the thing; it is just an image that was reflected.
Now we need to do Pokemon research to see if he's done this in the past. Does Professor Oak just what is this? And he's like, Charizard.
What if we sprinkled Stephen Hawking's ashes on Ditto?
He's gonna transform into ashes.
Well, could you sprinkle the ashes on him and show him a picture of Stephen Hawking's?
What would that? You would just be sprinkling ashes on him.
I don't think Ditto can be like, okay, I want you to transform your upper half into this person and then your lower half into this person. I think it's like a one, like it's like an object exists, whether that object is a human being, an animal, an inanimate object, whatever. I think it turns into that thing. I don't think it can go half and half.
That'd be a real powerful coffee creamer status right there.
Dude, right? What if he transformed into a bottle of coffee creamer and you use the coffee creamer?
That kind of disgusts me.
Well,
am I drinking Ditto?
You are literally drinking Ditto, but does he then lose that much of himself? Like, it's just gone? Can he do that? Can he transform into a container with liquid in it?
Maybe he goes inside of you, takes you over. Yeah, he could go inside of you, take you over. Or maybe you could just be part Ditto from then on. You get the Ditto abilities. How does that work?
You can turn into things.
We need to know if I ingest Ditto, if I become him or if he becomes me.
In all the anime shows and movies and stuff like that, if they just had Dittos, it would just be better. The whole thing would be easier. Ash would just win everything he ever tried to Ash.
You're not wrong.
But maybe they didn't want to invent a one-off Pokemon that just wins at everything.
But they did. They just didn't give him the potential that he absolutely has. I'm actually really fired up about this Ditto thing now. We probably need to shut it down before it goes too far because
We should.
There's no other answer but Ditto.
Andrew, your mom's looking kind of cute.
Oh, Josh had the crush.
I am definitely sending her this video now. I actually didn't send her the other ones yet, and I need to.
What?
She doesn't know about.
Does everyone else's moms know about the podcast?
I don't think so.
My mom watches it.
I've just been like posting.
Your
on
mom
Facebook
doesn't know,
and
Nathan?
Stuff. I haven't sent it to anybody specifically.
I'll send it specifically to your mother and my mother so that they watch it
in a group chat, and then see if.
Yeah. Oh, that's a beautiful idea. All three of our mothers in a group chat. Send them the video. They'll be like, first of all, who are these other two? Well, two of them would know each other, and then they'd be like, wait a minute. One of us has Tourette's, and this is the name of the gold.
Beautiful. I love it.
We're gonna need a reaction video of that too, or some audio. I love how that one line in the middle of Josh's photo on the top just has that like alfalfa look going for him. Yeah, it's a star, and now it's his single bald-headed hair. Anyways, do your thing, Nathan, because we are gonna go down this Ditto hole for a while if we don't.
Yeah, that's about right. Well, I think we're calling it there, fellas. We had a rather productive little chat here, and pretty chill week overall. Doing some Tarkov, and I guess that's what we're gonna do this week as well. But thank you all so much for watching. We really always appreciate having you here. Do the whole like, subscribe stuff. That's fine too. I'll have the graphic pop up. Boom! Well, boom! Right there. But that's always helpful. But also you don't have to, because once again, we are not your parents. And if we were, we would be really good parents. So really,
I'm your daddy.
Yes.
Daddy wasn't there. Take me to the fair to change my underwear. Daddy wasn't there. Ooh, great harmonizing, guys.
Love you guys. Thanks for watching. See you around town. And I was Nathan.
Josh.
I was Andrew.
I have once been Nathan, and you guys have a wonderful week. We will reconvene at around this time next week.
Bye.